Today, we have the Hotel Revenue Dream Team. Our first guest is Max Landsman. Max is the host of the Real Max and TV podcast and a Facebook marketing expert. Our second guest is David Magnano, who is the producer for the No Vacancies podcast and an expert revenue manager for the New York market. And I am Bruce Jordan. With Michael Jordan is the basketball, Bruce Jordan is the same to the hotel industry. I am the host of Hotel Management Do's and Don'ts, the managing partner for hotel guest management, and the #1 hotel revenue expert in the world. Today, we will be covering how to get your hotel discovered on social media and how hotel revenues increase when social media marketing and revenue management are in sync. All this and more on the Hotel Revenue Dream Team. Hotels want to pay their housekeepers more money. Unfortunately, it's not within their budget. Now, you can pay your housekeepers more money with We Tip Hotels. More and more guests don't carry cash. We Tip Hotels allow your guests to leave housekeepers a tip with a credit card. Make your guests and housekeepers happy with credit card tips. For more information, visit WeTipHotels.com. Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. It's Bruce Jordan. Today I got my two special guests, and we're going to be talking about hotel revenue management and hotel marketing. We got Dave Magnano, and we got the king of YouTube over here, a business YouTube, the Mad Max and TV. We have Max Landsman. And we're going to go ahead and get right into this. We're going to start off with my man Max, and he's going to tell us what we need to know about Facebook and Facebook marketing. Max, I got a question for you. We see a lot of things changing in hospitality. What are some of the things that hotels need to focus on when they're marketing themselves on Facebook?
So, well, number one, I really appreciate you having me on. Honestly, if I could be next to Bruce Jordan, David Magnano, I mean, what could be better, honestly? So, listen, I don't just drive out for anybody, but it's a great question. And I mean, I wouldn't say it's a black and white answer, but, you know, for simple terms, it's just that data is king, honestly. Mm-hmm. Data is king, and there are plenty of data companies out there, and what you can do is, as opposed to going through the normal routes of Facebook and so, you can really pinpoint in and hone in on exactly who you're trying to target. However, it could get very costly. Mm-hmm. For some people, it might work out great, but if you want to go a better route and also save yourself a fortune, you can literally buy data on people who have indicated, such as I'm looking for a resort hotel in Malibu or so on and so forth, and then you can specifically target and hone in on those people, and for as low as $2 a lead, for example, and then you just put all those people into Facebook and target similar people and save a fortune and target exactly who you want.
So David, when it comes to revenue management, you know, of course we need our social media. How do you gauge fill out what you're getting, see if social media is actually working for you, you know, when it comes to revenue management? What are some of the things that you do where you're able to track everything, how it flows in?
Well, again, Bruce, and again, thanks for having me out here as well. It all depends, as Max was talking about, on the data that you can receive, right? And different companies will get different amounts of data based on if you're a big brand, if you're independent, things like that. So, of course, there's a very direct way, which is throw something out there, put a promo code or a special offer out there and see how much return you get on that. Of course, you have travel ads and some of these other third-party websites that will track some of this return on investment data for you as well. But if you're just putting stuff out there socially on Instagram or on Facebook and you're not really diving into the data, it can actually get a little confusing to see what is really returning your investment, right? Facebook, or I should say Instagram, a lot of the data there is insights, it's impressions. You're not necessarily getting that true click-through to know and say, hey, this person booked through Instagram because of this, unless you're doing, again, those promo things. So it's really figuring out ways that you can tie all of that data together, whether it's through a third-party company, whether it's through a social media marketing company, but it's super, super important that you're able to identify what is making progress, what's not, what demographics are you hitting, what demographics are not hitting, and what do you want to do to maybe change your business mix with that information.
Makes sense. Now, when it comes to the revenue management side of things,
I mean, I know you've seen Facebook, people come up and all the time, oh, I'm a Facebook expert, I'm a this expert, I'm a that expert. And as soon as you throw the $5,000 or $10,000 at them, you'll be lucky if you get $200. What's the cutoff for you where you say, you know what, you're not working out, I can't use you, give me my money back or something, you know. You robbed me without a gun.
Yeah, Bruce, I mean, you're right. There's a lot of people out there that are going to take your money and run, right? They don't know what they're doing. Everybody thinks they're a social media expert. But a lot of the times you're going to get in companies that are just going to post stock images. They're going to do some generic hashtags. They're not really giving you much information about why they're doing what they're doing and how it actually is helping you. You have to really make sure you're getting a company that's going to come out to you, that's going to learn about your hotel or your message. What do you want it to deliver in a specific time? Versus just them giving you a social calendar saying we're going to post X, Y, and Z, we're going to respond to some messages, we're going to put some reels out there and call it a day. Those companies that do offer that experience of coming out, filming some personal stuff, getting some images that are actually related to your property, they're going to cost a little more, but the return on investment is going to be so far beyond what you get for those companies that are just going to do a $200 return that it's going to make it so much more worth it.
You know, I'm not going to name any names, but I have seen a lot of generic companies out there, and then I had seen the ones that really know what they're doing, but it seems like they never specialize in one thing or another. Like they'll be good at retarget marketing, but they'll be terrible at engagement with, like, as far as posting. So, like, are there specific market segment point of reports that you look at when you're analyzing everything as the data flows in for revenue management purposes, or?
So from my standpoint, again, the marketing side of revenue management necessarily may not get into that fully, but as far as what I'm looking at there is I want to make sure that I'm getting the best bang for my dollar and that I'm not targeting, again, demographics that aren't really going to make sense for my hotel. So one, it's knowing your property. It's knowing who you want to target, right? What is the type of guest you want to target? What locations do you want to target, right? If you're just throwing out a bland social media message to the entire world, same thing as a travel ad, it's going to exhaust your funds real quickly. If you're sending stuff out there for, say, the Asian market, and you're in a market that doesn't get a lot of Asian travelers, what's the point? If you're sending, if you're targeting a demographic of, say, young travelers, but your hotel is positioned to be more of a luxury business travel hotel, then you're not targeting the right demographic. So it's really, really important in looking at those reports. Who is my target demographic? Who am I reaching? Right? That's information that you can get back from your social media company or from your insights, and making sure that your positioning and that your market message is actually getting to people that you want to. That's what I'm looking at. Otherwise, I'm just spending money.
Now, what type of relationship should the revenue manager have with the social media marketing company or the social media marketing director?
I think it should be much more involved than it probably is at a lot of properties, and maybe even my own. I think, obviously, as a revenue manager, you have strategies you want to execute, but your strategies, for the most part, won't mean anything if you're not getting that out there. So promotions, packages, special offers, length of stay discounts, whatever it may be that you're doing, if you're not getting that message out there, it's not going to matter, right? From a revenue standpoint, what drives the best business a lot of times? Direct bookings. That's right. Making sure that your marketing, your social media marketing, is tying back to your page. And then, from my standpoint, I have to make sure that my messaging on those pages, on those channels, is proper, so that when people do come to my page from the social media posts that we put out there, that I'm consistent with my message, that I'm direct with my message, and that I'm relating to that guest that I'm trying to target. Because if I'm getting people to come in from social media and then my stuff on my site is wrong, they're going to get right off. So it's all together. It's all tied together, making sure that message is consistent. That's the big deal, is making sure it's consistent from the beginning of the user to the end of the user, that it ties all together.
Nice. Now, Max, of course, not everyone is going to be as good as you. What
can I say?
Is there a way that you can actually have an auditor that maybe just looks at the analytics and see if what they're doing is making sense? Because you're not cheap All right. You know, you're not cheap at all, but a lot of people, they can't afford your full, you know, $100 million invoice.
Oh.
But
All due in cash.
That $300 million investment, return on investment is going to make a lot of sense.
there you go.
God,
There you go.
I like it.
So it's like, is there a way that you can actually look to see if their campaigns, like do an audit, just charge them to see if their campaigns make sense and if it's actually getting the return on investment that they're looking for?
I mean, yeah, as long as, you know, there's tracking involved, as long as things you can actually track, it's pretty simple. I mean, you can even find a tutorial on YouTube as to how you actually find it yourself. It's really just basic stuff as far as if you can see how many, not just like, I'm not even talking about engagement, I'm just talking about how many people booked on this site at all, and you can just divide it by the time of how much you actually spent on marketing. And I mean, it's very simple. I remember Tillman Fertitta, he owns a lot of hotels, the Golden Nugget, the Houston Rockets is one of his latest purchases. Speaking of cash, he put down like $50 million in cash, and he could have lost it in 2 seconds. But for every, but he know, even though he personally isn't like a marketing guy, he knows that for every dollar spent on marketing, he's making 30.
Yeah.
Literally. That's really the main point. As long as everything's trackable, you should have no problem. And you shouldn't have to spend like $100 million on me to have to tell you that. But you should be able to figure that out on your own, essentially.
Nice, nice. What do you feel like some of the mistakes that hotel owners and franchises and management companies are making when it comes to marketing on Facebook and social media?
So with every business, regardless of hotel or not, every business needs to be exciting. However, the problem is not every business actually is exciting. For example, if you sell blenders, right? How do you make a blender exciting, right? Yeah. So a company, what they did was they're going to be like, we're going to test how many things we could chop up using our blenders. They would throw in iPhones in there to see if that would work. They throw in God knows what. They throw in cameras, whatever, and it would actually work. The blades wouldn't bend. That's a genius way to demonstrate how their product works. They ended up getting over 100 million views on specifically their product, and obviously that led to sales. So with hotels, it's especially extremely competitive. Like there's always going to be, you know, unless you're going to a very obscure place, to a place in New York City, there's 4,000 hotels just on each block. How do you differentiate? You just got to find a way to be exciting. So, you know, I'll just throw out one example. Let's say you have a, mid-tier hotel near a lot of family hotels. So one way to do it is, just on the top of my head, figure out how comfortable are our mattresses. So you get like a 99-year-old grandmother from a nurse, you literally pick her up from a nursing home, and to have her sleep there for a night and see if she doesn't break her back. And so like it just demonstrates, it's a ridiculous example. It's a ridiculous example, but the point is that people will see that. You probably don't even have to spend money on ads for that. That's a shareable thing to show. Like, it's so ridiculous. People are going to watch that, and people are like, wow, I got to stay there. Is it really that comfortable? It's just an example of how you make something exciting that otherwise would just be a commodity.
Nice. What is like the as far as like the Facebook page? Because I feel like that's where the presence really is because everyone's searching. They're searching Instagram, they're searching Facebook, they're searching YouTube. Everyone's searching. What is the best looking Facebook page for a hotel that you've ever seen?
So I really like Ritz-Carlton, honestly. The reason why I do is because they really aren't marketing the hotel itself at all. They don't actually market that. They're marketing the experiences. Everything is about an experience 100 times over. So wouldn't you rather go, like, you're not really looking for a place to sleep. You can find a bed anywhere, right? You want a place that you can relax, you get a long business trip. You want to see like the spa, and it's incredible. Like they literally on their Facebook page, one of the first videos is like a celebrity. They're just asking them random questions. Like that has nothing to do with anything, but it's cool. And so it really grabs your attention. I have to say that.
Nice. Me, myself, personally, I like to focus on search. So whatever I'm doing, whether Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube is my specialty, but my goal is to get out in front of the customer. So if I know that they're looking for specific things in the area that I'm in, I'm trying to attach my hotel and myself to that thing that they're looking for. I'm that guy holding the sign saying, hey, come over here. I'm flipping it up in the air and everything when I'm on YouTube and Facebook and everything else. So I'm trying to get out there. If I'm looking for specific keywords that I will come up for in the search. So if there's like a dog sitter or are pet friendly or something like that. I'm trying to make sure my hotel is in front of that particular location. If it's a specific thing, if a restaurant has very high reviews and they have a lot of them, they have like 1,500 reviews or 2,000 reviews, I know that restaurant is something that I need to target with my hotel because everyone's gonna come in. I'm gonna be out there with the sign, hey, I know you're at that restaurant, come to my hotel. So in this particular market, we really have to change up our strategies. And one way we could do that is with YouTube, because with YouTube, I can be found in Google search and in YouTube. So I can have the hottest video. And when you type in that thing or that place, my video will come up for my hotel because my hotel is about that particular topic. So not only am I ranking in YouTube, I'm ranking in Google search as well, which of course leads them directly to my website. This way we get more direct bookings. Now, what type of relationship do you feel like the revenue manager should have with the social media campaign marketer or the company or the director of social media marketing?
So, giving a very generic answer, I think it's just like any other company, just like any other, whatever you're doing for that company, everyone's got their job, everyone's got their expertise. So, for example, the marketing people, let the marketing people be creative, but let the revenue manager be the business side, because marketing people will run up a bill and you won't even know they can run up $1 billion. They won't care. They're just gonna be like just a little bit more. So that's, I feel like revenue manager guys has to kind of tame them to keep them kind of in order and to make sure they're hitting their goals on time. So as far as that, I feel like the relationship can really work out. And just, it's just like anything. Like as long as you get your job done, that's what matters.
Nice. Well, you heard it from the experts themselves. Like you can't get any better than these two guys right here. And I'm just happy that I'm able to have them on the show for today. But you know what time it is. You know what we're here to do. As always, I'm Bruce Jordan signing out. And I'm glad thank you for joining for this Hotel Marketing Minute. And I'm glad we was able to help you out with revenue management and marketing. And you know what we're here to do. We're here to make your revenues rise up once again.